you're all well. Welcome to Totally Beads Tutorials. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a lovely little bracelet. We've got some pearls, two sizes of pearls, lots of colour choice, some spaces, a little bit of wire findings. Really simple, really pretty effect, and thank you so much for joining me. Phoenix says, I'm early, woohoo, I hope you're well, my lovely. Thank you for joining us. Janice, oh bless you. She says, don't ask, but this morning with you beaders is my happy place. Isn't that lovely? This is my happy place too. So thank you so much for joining me. It is still very warm, very overcast today. We did have a little bit of lightning. I didn't hear any thunder, but there was lightning in the distance. We should get it again, I think, today. In and out with the washing. Didn't know what to do, but it is very warm. Very warm. Hello to Rachel. How are you doing? Good morning to Star. She says, good morning, everybody, from a partly sunny Manchester. Rachel says, there's sadly no sun here, but unusually for Walney Island, no wind either. Oh, okay. There's rain in Swansea, says Janice. Good morning to Debbie. Debbie, today our bracelet is named Deborah. So in honour of you, I do hope you like them. Teresa, good morning to you. Hello to lovely Lucy Lockett. Good morning to Jan. She says, good morning to everybody. She also says she's very much looking forward to the tutorial. Good morning to Camille. Have I pinched myself, Camille? No, just feels like a foggy dream. I had a very busy weekend, very lovely weekend, and thank you to all of you who have sent in little messages of support for me. It is much appreciated. Good morning to Carol. Hello to Elaine. Good morning to Anne. Hello to Trish, who's in a grey and drizzly island. Is it still warm though, Trish? Hello to Carol. Hello to Denise. She says, good morning, Natalie. So warm here in Manchester. Lisa's in as well and giving us a lovely smile. Judith's in. She says, good morning to everybody. Hello to Diane. And good morning to Victoria, who wishes everybody a good morning as well. I'm going to take you over to the website now. I'm going to show you these beautiful bracelets. They're really straightforward to make. Please don't be put off if you aren't a wire worker. You're just using it like beading thread. It's just a little bit easier because you can tell the wire what to do when it comes to making those loops and adding on your findings and your clasp. You can add any clasp onto this, and you can make your own wire clasp if you wanted to, but I've just popped in a little lobster clasp and some jump rings into your kit to make that really easy and straightforward to everybody. Good morning to Shirley, who's watching from Florida. Thank you, Lucy. She says, check you out with your own little collection. Well done. Thank you so much. If anyone's wondering what I'm chatting about, I have designed my own jewellery line, and they were available on Saturday to purchase. So yeah, very excited about them, delighted with them. That's why I said to Camille, it just doesn't really feel real. It feels like a little bit of a dream. Getting back to normality. Every day is the same for me. I'm always making, always beading, and always looking after the little one. So not much has changed. I just feel a little bit more accomplished. Camille, yes, I am wearing my earrings. I'm also wearing my pendant, and I've got a ring on as well. You've got it, flaunted. Good morning to Anne, and thank you so much, Star. So over we go to totallybeads.co.uk, where you can get your hands on these beautiful kits today. I hope you all were able to make the most of that offer that we had over the weekend. Thank you so much. You're all so very lovely. So here we are on totallybeads.co.uk. Head into the video tutorial section just here. I'm just gonna click back for me just so I can check that you can see it. So today we're doing the Deborah cluster bracelets. Excuse me. They're really straightforward to do, and they're very sweet. We've got 6 beautiful colour choices for you today, and you've also got 10% off all of your kits. So they've been reduced from £7.99 down to just £7.19. I think you make 3 bracelets up in each kit. I will check on that, but I'm pretty sure it was 3. So lots and lots in there, lots of lovely pearls. You can choose from the blue and white, which is on the silver findings. I think I'm going to demo that one for you today because I've got them out and close to me. We've also got a beautiful forest green and light peach. I'm going to show you that down on the map because it is the lightest of peach. I've tried to pair for the smaller pearls with this very kind of soft, creamy, white type of tones, just to make the colour of the larger 6mm pearls just stand out a little bit more. These are all glass pearls, beautiful, beautiful colours on them. And that one, the forest green, is on the copper coloured wire with your copper spacers too. We've got gold and ivory, which of course is on the gold wire. The wire I'm using today is a 0.4mm, which I think is 26 gauge for those of you who might be over in the US or somewhere else that uses a gauge kind of system rather than the millimeters. So that's 26 gauge, 0.4. You only need 1 gauge of wire, and we're going to use 3 lengths. So really nice and simple make today, but I think they look very pretty and they fit very comfortably. We've also got the Deborah cluster bracelet in magenta and buttermilk. That's very pretty. That's also on your gold wire with your gold spacers and findings. We've got your space blue and white, which is on the silver, and the turquoise and pastel green, which is possibly a favourite of mine. I'm looking at the pink today actually as well. That one's also on your copper coloured wire. We've got that like champagne gold, or is it rose gold? I think it might be a rose gold clasp actually, just to tie in those colours together for you. Every single thing you need to make this bracelet, minus your tools, are in your kit. In terms of tools, you can use round nose pliers or your bail step pliers to make that little loop to attach your findings on. You're going to need some wire cutters, so if you've got some flush cutters just to trim off the little ends, a pair of chain nose pliers or tweezer nose pliers, needle nose pliers, whatever you like, just to tuck in, and maybe 2 pairs of chain nose pliers just to open up your jump rings. Very, very minimal in terms of your tool needage, and I think you'll find, like me, they're very pretty and very, not like me personally, like I find the bracelets are very pretty and simple to use. A bit like me in the simple regards, but yeah, not in the looks. So we've got your copper wire here. It is all copper wire, but it is different coloured plated. So this is kind of like a silver coloured copper wire, which is your 0.4. You've got your glass pearl rounds, your 4mm and your 6mm. So the colours will be the larger ones, which will be your 6mm glass pearls, and the smaller ones here that I'm using for those little clusters are your 4mm. You've also got 3mm spacers, which are here either side of those 6mm pearls. You've got your jump rings and you've got your lobster clasp as well. So this picture here and this one here sometimes looks a little bit better against like a coloured background, like the wooden background for my photograph. So I always try and take as many pictures as possible to show them off. This is your gorgeous blue and white Deborah cluster bracelet. This one is your forest green. Love these colours together. I think just having that warm copper next to that deep, beautiful forest green is just very, very complimentary. So that one is your forest green, and that's how it looks here for you as well. Really straightforward, just bringing in those wires, then separating them out. It's really, really quick make, and anybody I feel can do this. If you are a bead stringer, easy. If you're a wire worker, super easy. Whatever skill set you have, you'll be able to make these bracelets. I'll talk you through it. It's very straightforward. So that one is your forest green and your light peach. This one is your gold and ivory. I mean, I keep saying when and where you would wear these bracelets. I would wear these all year round. I think they're very kind of pretty for spring and summer. I also think they're lovely over kind of the festive period. They're lightweight to wear. You can adjust the length accordingly to suit you. So all you'd need to add is either more or less of the beads on there to adjust the size. I'll show you how, the length of that and what I've done. I'll just double check actually to let you know. The design I'm using today with 8 of those 6mm pearls in, that is coming out with clasp and everything when finished at about an 8.5-inch bracelet. So if you want to make it smaller, you can just adjust the amount of repetitions that you pop into these. If you want to gift it to someone, because we've added those jump rings and the lobster clasp, you can add a little extended chain as well if you wish. And I think they're suitable for all ages. Everybody loves a pearl. Lots of different genders wearing pearls as well at the moment, but also good for all ages. So I have made one for my friends. Well, I'm going to make one for Frank's friends, my son's friend's birthday, because I think she would like it. And, I think, as I say, suitable for all ages, everyone. Get one, they're lovely. Get a few if you want. So this one is your magenta and your buttermilk. I love the colour of how those pink magenta just pop. I've popped them against the buttermilk smaller pearls, so they've got that gorgeous creamy luster to them. And that is on your gold. Again, if you want to buy more kits, more than one kit, this bracelet's making 3. So if you wanted to get one on the copper or one on the silver or one on the gold, you can mix them up then. So if you think, you know what, I really like the pink, but I'd really like to have this on the silver wire and findings rather than the gold, you can mix that up. You're making 3 bracelets in your kits today for just £7.19. So that one was the pretty in pink. This one is your space blue and white, and I love that. Combining these colours kind of give it a bit of a nautical feel to me. Very pretty. So you're getting all of the same things in each of your kits, they just come in different colours. And this beauty is your turquoise and your pastel green. Now, it says pastel green. Again, they are pastel green when you put it against this kind of turquoise. But if I was to mix that against something like, I don't know, the pink, that would probably change the tone a little bit of that. If I was to put it with the forest green, it would probably bring out more of that beautiful kind of pastel green colour. If you're wondering what it is in terms of the components you're getting, you can scroll down on each of those options and you can see there we've got the acrylic copper round beads in this kit. They're 3mm in size. You're also getting your copper wire in this colour, which is your 0.4 or 26 gauge. You're getting your 4mm pastel green and your 6mm turquoise glass pearl rounds. So beautiful colours, I think, today. Lots of choice. There's 6 in total. Let me know what's your favourite. As I say, I do think I'm going to demo with the blue and the white, this lovely one here, just because I have it to hand. Would quite like to do a copper one though. I don't often use the copper and the copper colours, but we'll see how we go for time. It is pretty repetitive. Once you've seen me do that wrap loop and away we go on that first bit, it's the same all the way through. So these are your Deborah bracelets today. I'm going to have a little hello to everybody who's just joined us. I've got loads of you in now. Thank you so much for being with me. Where am I up to? Good morning to Angela. Good morning to Amelia. Good morning to Camille. Hello to Anne. Hello to Star. I said Hello to our lovely Shirley. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lucy. Jan says, oh, you should be very proud of what you've done. They're very beautiful. Don't, you're going to start me off again. If anybody watched the show on Saturday, I was just a mess. Debbie says it's all beautiful. Thank you. Camille says, I loved your nails too. I've still got them on, but I've been doing some wire work last night and absolutely just messed and chipped one up. So it's, do excuse my nails today. Phoenix says, we have you on in the background as Dad's here for Meg and Mum's here with me. Also just spoke to other people and let me know what if you've got any issues with anything, Phoenix, and hello to your mum and dad. I hope you're all well. Sheila says, good morning to everybody. You've been very, very lovely. Thank you very much, Victoria. This is your link today. So if you're looking for your kit, head over to totallybeads.co.uk, go into the jewellery making section or just click on the video tutorials or Facebook tutorials and you'll see it's the Deborah cluster bracelet. Thank you so much for sharing that. Hello, Pauline. How are you doing? She says it's a lovely but cooler day. She's ordered the kits. She says she lost out on her 15%, but it was her own fault because you're not quick enough. So sorry about that, Pauline. What happens is if you put things in your basket, they're not reserved. They're just in your basket. So obviously we get very, very busy over a weekend when we have an amazing offer like 15% off all kits. And if other people just manage to check out before you, then they will go out of your basket. So I'm so sorry for that, Pauline. But I hope you love these ones today. You have got 10% off these kits today, so that should kind of sweeten the blow a little bit. Star says they look lovely. Lucy says magenta is her favourite. That doesn't surprise me. Hello, Laura. How are you doing, my lovely? This is our lovely Laura Binding. She is fabulous. And are you going to be with us on Wednesday, Laura? Always like having a little watch and seeing what we do. So if you want to watch us again on Wednesday, and I'm sure you totally would. I don't know what you're making, Laura, but I'm sure it's lovely. So make sure you're tuning in Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, and you can see what we're doing and get your kits. Good morning to Shelley. Hello to Mina. Hello to Hannah. Good morning to Sue. Mina says she's got too many pearl bundles in her stash. Well, if you do have pearl bundles in your stash, choose the colours you like, Mina. Follow this technique. You might need to just buy some spacers or some wire. I'm sure you've got findings. You've probably got wire as well now in you, Mina. I don't think there's anything you don't have, is there? Star says it's a bargain today. Laura's like, oh, I love the copper. Thank you so much. Leslie says, good morning. Beautiful bracelets and it's warm. It's roasting. Jan says beautiful bracelets. Iris is in as well. Yes, Phoenix, I will definitely do so. Hello, Helen. How are you doing? You're Phoenix's mum. She's lovely. You must be lovely as well to have created the lovely Phoenix. Mina says there's 2 kits already out of stock. So if we can just have a little check on that, it might be the pearls, I'm guessing, unless it's the wire. I don't know. We might be able to just refresh that. Hello to Cheryl. She's watching from Tennessee. She says, always enjoy the tutorials and projects. It's lovely to have people from everywhere. Thank you so much, Tracy. That's really kind of you. Anne's in as well. She says, good morning, everybody. I love them all. There's loads of you in today. I'm hoping I've not missed anybody. Hi, Mary. That's really sweet of you. Julie's in as well. Oh, she says it's our pearl anniversary next, 30 years. So she may be tempted with these kits. The glass pearls are stunning. You've got a whole range of different sizes because they're glass pearls. They are uniform in size, so they're great for any type of project. You get so many different colors because they've all got that gorgeous different color coating on them. What else can I say about them? They're really affordable. If you want something like a pearl, you think can't afford a pearl, then the glass pearls are the perfect go-to. I use them all the time. Dan's saying the silver bracelets are already out of stock. Okay. We will check on that for you. Ida is the best is saying, wow, the space blue and the blue white have already sold out. But Lucy's now said that they are updated and back in stock. See, by the time I get to your comment, the problem's fixed. Thank you for letting us know. If there's ever any issues on the live where maybe my sound goes off, my camera does one and I haven't noticed, or, you know, the stock runs out on something, pop us a comment. Lucy's here all the time and she's our superstar and she will get on it and get it sorted. So thank you so much for that, Lucy. Shelley says she's on holiday this week in, okay, there we go, Camerathanshire. Where's that? Camerathanshire. I don't know where that is, but I hope it's very lovely. She says she's able to watch me live today. Thank you, Ruth. She's saying, don't forget to press the like and thumbs up option. Thank you so much. Hello to Jan. Good morning to Jackie. Yeah, Camille says, super Lucy on the ball. And Shirley says, Lucy, you're the best. We love you. Right, I've taken you over to the website. I'm now going to take you down on the mat so you can see these lovely, lovely colours, and you can also see how easy they are to make. So this is the one I'm going to demo with for you today. Oh, it's in South Wales. Okay, well, no wonder I couldn't pronounce it. So you can see here, I've got that gorgeous kind of white coloured pearl against those silver spaces and those lovely, lovely blue. It's like a proper gorgeous sky. Really, really pretty. It's got like a hint of kind of a lavender blue. I don't know. I could do with learning to describe colours a little bit more. Debbie says she thinks she's liking both the blues and the white. This one is your forest green. I think they were with the buttermilk. You can see, so I've tried to pair them all with kind of like a creamy coloured. I've got loads on my desk, so if I just move that, you can see that colour. The colours here are looking a lot more true than they are on my photographs. This one is your space blue. Lovely little clusters. This one I'm loving. This one's your turquoise. So at the moment they have got a very subtle, soft green tone to them. But again, that's brought out, I think, by pairing it with the copper and matching it with these turquoise. I do love the turquoise against the copper. I think, you know, you find these colours in nature. If you've ever got a proper turquoise gemstone, then they're usually found next to like copper mines, and you know they've got that kind of beautiful nature's combination already done for you. This one's the magenta. Do love that. I love that with the gold. Actually, I think it just makes them pop that little bit more, makes it lovely and warm. Lucy says all of these colours are very, very pretty. Oh yeah, Debbie, no monochrome. I don't. Well, I mean, you could, if you've got any 6mm pearls in a black, you could pair that with pretty much any of those for the monochrome, because you've got that kind of predominant white cream colour in it. Where was I up to? The gold. Phoenix says, oh, I love the turquoise. So you can see you can make these as large or as small as you want to. All I'm doing is just changing the repetition of the amount in there. So I said for about 8.5 inches, I've used 8 of the 6mm pearls. Obviously, if you wanted smaller, oh, this one fits me, so I think that's probably about 6 inches. I've used less. So maybe it's an inch per cluster, really. So you can play about with that if you want. If you want to go for a 7, maybe add 7 pearls in of the 6mm. Okay, I'm just going to place those over to the side. Debbie says I've got some obsidian which would go nicely. Yes, Debbie, they would. Okay, so I've got slippy hands again. I do apologise. It's very, very warm. I've taken 3 lengths of my 0.4, which is a 26 gauge wire, and I've cut that to about 11 inches each, because I'm doing that 3 times. 11 inches, I think, is about 27, 28 centimeters. I'm always trying to make sure I do The measurements include both types of the measurements and both types of the gauges and things for you, but sometimes I do forget. So there's 11 inches of your 0.4 wire, and I'm using that 3 times, so I've cut 3 separate pieces. I'm going to bring them together as one. So I'm going to bring my ends together so they all start at the same point. And I've straightened these out with my wire straighteners. So I've got nylon pliers, but you can run that through your fingers if you want to, just to kind of smooth any ends out. I'm going to take my veil step pliers or my round nose pliers. I'm reading comments at the same time. So yeah, I'm going to take my veil step pliers for this, but you can use your round nose pliers if you want to. I'm going to probably decide what size I want my loop. It only needs a small one, so I'll probably go for that second smallest. I'm going to take my pliers, my round nose or my veil step, and I'm going to bring them down about an inch from the top of my wires, using them all together, holding them as one. And I'm going to give it a little bend over in one direction. So I've got like a 90-degree bend on that. I'm then going to reposition my hand, so my veil step pliers on my round nose are sitting above and below that wire, and this is the size of the loop I'm going for. So I'm bringing them all over, still using them as one. It's easy to do when your hands aren't as slippy as mine. And then reposition again so I can bring that over, because I'm going to make a little wrapped loop. So I want them to look basically like a little scarf. So if this is its head, this is its body, this is its little scarf. And I'm bringing them over together. So you can see I'm using those wires as one. And I'm just wrapping round. Now this wire is so lovely to use. I can do this with my fingers, but you can do this with your tools if you want. Each time I'm bringing that round, I'm just bringing the wires slightly underneath the last wrap. So I'm just bringing it round. And I'm going to do that about 3 times. Doesn't need much. Just going to give that a little squish to neaten it in. And then I'm going to come in with my wire cutters and I'm going to trim. So it's looking like this at the moment. I'm going to come in and trim quite close up, popping my fingers over those tail ends just to catch them. And then I like to pop it back into the plier just to give myself some purchase and grip. So I'm holding that with my left dominant hand, and with my dominant hand I'm coming in with a pair of pliers just to tuck in any of those little ends, because we don't want them catching or scratching on your skin when it's worn. So I'm just tucking in those little ends. You can run your finger very gently over it as well, just to make sure that's nice and secure. So that is my wrapped loop. Now I'm going to add on one of my spacers. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start this little repetition pattern. Let me pick one up and I will show you. So if I open it out, I'm just going to start placing on my spacers, then my pearls, spacers, and then I'll open, excuse me, that wire out to make those clusters. I don't even think I was in shot there showing you that, was I? Oh, Shirley says, I really appreciate you saying inches too. It depends what I'm using, you know. I do talk about inches quite a lot with kind of wire, I guess. And then with thread, I tend to go centimeters or a meter. So I don't know. I don't know what I do. I mix it up. Lisa, she says, I've got to go. I've got an appointment. She doesn't want to miss it. I hope you have a lovely day. I hope your appointment goes well. Don't worry, Lisa. You can always catch us up on the Totally Beads website at any point, and on YouTube as well. Nope, you're off camera. I know. Sorry, Phoenix. Okay, so I've now added my little wrap loop, I'm going to take my spacer bead and I'm going to slide that onto all 3 of those wires. Now your spacer beads have got those lovely sized holes in them, as have your pearls really, and that's the joy of having a glass pearl too, because sometimes when you have a natural pearl, you can have the most minuscule holes with them, so it can kind of limit what you can do with them really. This is a 0.426 gauge wire, so it's nice and thin, it's strong enough, but I'm going to be able to get all 3 wires through that one spacer bead. I'm then going to come in with my first 6mm glass pearl and I'm going to poke that through. And again, I'm going through all. So I'm taking all of the ends. My hands are so slippy. And I'm just sliding that on. Now you will have coating of your gorgeous colour on these pearls. So sometimes, you know, it might cover that hole a little bit. Because we're using the wire, I can just poke it through and slide that right up. So I've gone spacer, 6mm pearl. I'm now going for the other spacer. Again, that's going on all 3 of the wires. So I'm bringing all the ends together, sliding it on, and just pushing that right down so it's sitting next to my pearl. Now I'm going to open up these wires and I'm going to use them individually. So I'm going to just gently separate them out, just so I can now add on 3 of my smaller pearls to each one. Now don't worry if your wire bends, you can straighten it out and, you know, just use it as you go. But what's lovely about it is because it's got that malleable kind of bendiness to it, you can shape this lovely to your wrist while you're wearing it. So it just gives a really comfortable fit. So I'm popping on now my smaller pearls and I'm putting 3 onto each one. I will just pull a few of those off my string. Okay, I'll just reposition my chair and hopefully, because I want you to be able to see this bit. My wire is quite long. I don't have much, it's not that I don't have much space on my desk. My camera angle only goes so far. So picking up each end of my wire, adding on 3 pearls to each one, and then let them slide right down and fall towards that pearl and spacer bead. Now you can position this with your finger, you can push them up, you can make this like a little rounded cluster, you can do whatever you want with them. But when I then add my next spacer on, I'm popping that onto all 3 ends of the wire. And as I slide that up and give it a little push down, that will make my little pearl cluster. Thank you, Phoenix. And now it's just repetition of that. So I've got spacer, pearl, which is my larger 6mm, and another spacer. Sliding it onto all, giving it a little push. They go on really, really easy. And then I'm just opening up those wires just a little bit so I can work individually on each one. So again, 3 pearls onto each wire. So going for the smaller now. And it is that simple. That is your repetition. So now you need to decide, well, how long do I want this bracelet to be? What I often do when I'm making is I will just measure it against the ruler as I go. You're probably going to get about ½ an inch extra. I mean, you could make these parts of your wrap loop much longer if you wanted to. But by the time you've added on your 2 jump rings and your clasp, you're probably going to get maybe ½ an inch to an inch. So measure it against the ruler as you go. If you want to make it that little bit smaller, then what you can do is, as I say, you can just add a little extender chain onto that if you wish. So I've got 3 pearls onto each of the wire. I'm now just kind of giving it a little pinch in to draw those wires in together again. And then I'm going to add on my next spacer bead. Now what is happening is when I add that spacer bead on, just give it a little push and slide, and that kind of makes these pucker, I suppose, maybe is the word, just group together into that little cluster. So again, you can make that as more emphasized as you want to. You can work with that wire and position it as you like. You don't really see too much of the wire exposed as you go. So spacer, pearl onto all. So you can see I'm just holding the ends of the wire together, giving it a little wiggle, sliding it right up, and then adding my other spacer. Shelley's asking, can you make this with tiger tail instead of wire and just add the clasp on? Yeah, I think you absolutely can. What you would need to do is make sure you can fit 3 pieces of your tiger tail or your beading thread, Shelley, through a crimp bead. I'd probably use a crimp bead and a culotte. Yeah, that I don't think that will be an issue whatsoever. You just want to make sure that you're positioning your pearls nice and closely, because you might see a tiny little bit of your tiger tail. I don't mind having, with the wire, I don't mind having a tiny bit of the wire exposed because it matches that spacer bead anyway. But yeah, you'll be able to use tiger tail with this. But please don't be put off with it being wire, because obviously, you know, I love using wire, but I find this for a project like this, it's probably easier or just as easy to use as a tiger tail or a beading thread. I don't have to worry about the tension of anything. I don't need a needle. I can just slide everything on really straightforward. Your tiger tail does have a bit of a stiffness to it, so you wouldn't need a needle to do it with that. You'd be fine. But also having those wrap loops at the end is just giving it that real extra strength. Nothing is going to come off a wrapped loop, even with a small thin gauge of wire like a 26 gauge 4mm wire, because you've created that wrap loop. You've got that real security, but also because we're just attaching a jump ring onto the end of it, you can also change your clasps quite easily if you want to. So again, you could if you're using a culotte and crimp beads with it. Okay, so I've added 3 of my pearls onto each strand again. Spacer bead, going on to the end of all 3 of my wires, bringing it in, sliding it up, just give it a little gentle push. Back on with my colour pearl. Sliding it up, and another spacer. So it really is very repetitive, really straightforward to do. And you can see, you know, that's growing in length really quite quickly. Just going to separate those out a little bit. Move them down in front of the camera so you can see. I'm just adding on 3 pearls onto each. Get some more off my strand. Shelley says, I'm quite new to beading, so that's really helpful info, thank you. You're most welcome. Please, whatever you do though, Shelley, share it in the handmade group. We've got a handmade group, Totally Beads Handmade, on Facebook, if you're on Facebook. I'd love to see what you make. You know, we all, a lot of us get the same kit, and yet we all make something different with it. Sometimes, you know, people decide to mix up the colours. mix up the repetition of the beads. So I really would like to see what you do. So once I've added 3 pearls onto each one again, just repeating that process, bringing all those wires together to go through the spacer, sliding the spacer up, then one of the coloured pearls. You can see I've got a lovely sized hole in that pearl. There you go. So it goes through really easily. And if you've got a little bit of paint or colouring on the other side, your wire is going to be kind of sharp enough to just knock that off, no problem. Lucy says it's a really cute project. Thank you, Lucy. And Shelley says I've joined it, so we'll definitely start putting my makes on. It's just a really nice way of, getting to know like-minded people. I always say I speak to people probably on the Totally Handmade group and you lovely lot quite often more than I do my own family, because I'm here with you like twice a week. So we've got a lovely community. We kind of, we celebrate people's granddaughters being born and, our life events that occur, and talk about the joys and woes of life and making and beading. And we've got an awful lot of experts in the group as well now, and an awful lot of newbies as well. So don't ever be, shy about sharing your makes. We've all started at the same point, which is the beginning of our jewellery making journey. So if, you think, oh, well, I'm quite new to this, I'm a bit embarrassed to share, everybody else is always going to be better. Don't be like that, because there'll be somebody else who has less experience than you do, or has more experience and just never tried that technique before. So you inspire each other, and you can get help for anything that you're not sure of, whether that be where to find, the kit and the project for that somebody's shared that they've made, or if you're having any issues with any of the materials, like I can't get this to sit the right way, or whatever it is. It's a really useful place, and I would say the friendliest place on the internet. Everyone's always very kind. Hello, Nikki. She says, I'm new to the group. Well, welcome. We will look after you. Camille says that, yes, we're all very lovely. And she says, still love the nails. They're very spring-like. Gone for a little garden effect. Just added a little bit of gold glitter onto them. This hand doesn't look too bad. This is a very dodgy finger, because when I wire work, I always use this finger. So do apologise for the nails. Don't think I've missed any comments. If I have missed any comments, if you've got a question, you can put a Q in front of your question, and then I can identify it as a question. Also, if you've got a tip, you can add a T, and I'll know it's a tip as well. Always try and read out your comments. And if at any point you're watching this back at a later stage, then do comment on the YouTube comment section, and I'll always do my best to answer. I'll go back into past videos and have a little look. Or if you've got a question about the kits or any of our products, then you can always send an email to the warehouse team as well, and they are very, very quick to respond. So I'm just going to do whatever size and length I want with this. I'm going to add another one of my spacer beads on. I mean, this would also make a really lovely necklace. You're making 3 bracelets in your kit today, and each one I've measured out all of the things that you will need will be for 8.5-inch bracelet. So if you wanted, instead of making multiple bracelets, you wanted to make a necklace, then you can do that as well. It will sit really nice and comfortably. So I might just, yeah, that's fine. I've got such warm hands. So you can see these are just clustering up. I can move them and slide them down if I need to do so. It's a lovely, lovely project. Shirley says, I really like your design, very versatile. You could use wire, tiger tail, or even thread. Yeah, I like to make things that anyone can do using any technique that they feel comfortable with. I think it's nice to have something a little bit versatile. And also then it's nice to see things, you know, this is just a little bit of inspiration. You can do whatever you want with the kits. Don't feel, you know, you have to stick to this, that, or the other. I mean, if you wanted to, if you're getting multiple ones, you could add just a different section, like extra colours in between. You could mix up your colours. You could do whatever you want with it. I think I'm probably going to make this my last little cluster because it's quite long for me anyway. All my samples do end up going back to the warehouse so they can take them to bead shows or just keep them on display or just have them there for reference. So it doesn't matter if this one doesn't fit me. But as I say, if you're not sure about the length, just add a little extender chain. You've got a little piece of chain, you could just attach that onto the end of your jump ring. And then if you're not sure what size somebody would like, you've got that adjustability there then. Okay, 3 pearls of the smaller size going on to each one, bringing them back together. Going to add a spacer. And I'm going to finish as I started. So I'm not finishing with the cluster, I'm finishing with a spacer and then the pearl, which has got my pop of colour on it, and then another spacer. And now I'm just going to make my other wrap loop. So before I do that, I'm just going to cast my eye over it, check I've not missed anything. If I had, if for example I'd missed a spacer, all I would need to do is just thread it back off. There's nothing permanent at this stage, and that's another, you know, nice little bonus about this make. If I want to just reposition, I can just slide up, and I'm bringing my wires together at the end. Hello Birgit, how are you doing? She says, sorry I'm late, but Natalie, you are showing a gorgeous bracelet here. Thank you. Dankeschön, Birgit. Thank you very, very, very much. Elaine says, question, morning Natalie. Thinking of slightly different clusters, would all 3 wires go through the smaller pearls too? Shall we try? I don't see why not, because if they'll go through the spacer. Yes, lovely, they will, Elaine. So there you go. There's the smaller pearl going through all 3 of those wires. Great question, Elaine. Thank you for asking, because it gives me the opportunity to try it here and now. Okay, so now I'm going to make my wrap loop. I'm going to do exactly the same. I'm going to remember which side I used. So it was this size for my looper. If I was using my round nose pliers, then what I would do is I would stick the end of the wrap loop I've made back through my round nose pliers, and I'd see whereabout on the plier that I made that loop. Now your round nose pliers are tapered, so they're smaller at the bottom and get wider as they go towards the handle. So if I want a larger loop, I'm going to move up towards my knuckles and my hands. If I'm wanting a smaller fine one, then I would go to the end. You don't need a huge loop, you just want to make sure you can fit your jump ring and your findings into it. So I'd make a visual note, or could even mark it with a pen so I know I'm going to get exactly the same size loop, but it really doesn't matter. I'm then going to come in again with my pliers, using them all together. Now, all I would say is when you come to tuck in your ends on your wrap loop, just watch these little spacer beads, these little metallic spacer beads. We want to make sure we're not putting any pressure on them with our pliers when we come to kind of pinch in those tail ends, because we don't want them to break or snap. So I'm just going to hold all 3 of my wires together. I'm going to bend it over and give me a 90 degree bend. Now I like using my pliers like this, the bail step, because I know that little bend there will be the size I have to wrap my loop. So between that spacer bead and the loop itself that I'm going to make now. So I'm bringing them all over together as one, repositioning my hand and bringing them across. I'm going to swap hands. And again, you can do this with your fingers, but if you want to, use your tools. So I'm bringing them through together. I'm going to use my tools just to show you how to use your tools with them. And I'm just going to do it one rotation at a time. So I'm still bringing them all together, but I'm just going to go half. See, I like to use my fingers because I can just pinch the wires together. But I've told you I'm not going to, so I'm going to show you. So bring it round halfway, halfway again, and just bring that round. So I've made that little wrap loop. I'm just going to give it a little pinch just to make sure those wraps are fitting nice, close together, nice and neat. Phoenix is asking, what size are the sections on your looper? Looks bigger than what I've seen. I don't know, hon. These are just BeadClub branded ones. So I don't know. You can get any bail step pliers. They'll have different sizes on. I'm pretty sure these were from Totally Beads. I'm pretty sure. So have a little look if they've got them on the website, and they'll just create different sizes. But I couldn't tell you the measurements. I'm sure it was on the packaging, but I didn't pay attention. I just tend to go by eye and see what I think looks the best. So now I've got my little wraps. I'm going to come in again with my cutters, and I'm going to trim all 3 tail ends off. And then you can pop it back into your pliers to give yourself something to grip onto. Or if you wanted, you could hold it across there to keep your loop in position. So whatever you feel most comfortable with. And now I'm gently just going to tuck in those wires. So what I meant before is I'm just going to make sure that I'm not putting any pressure on that little spacer at the top when I tuck them in. I'm actually going to get my bent nose. Any pliers will do for this. Pair of chain nose, whatever you've got to hand, just to tuck those little ends in, making sure there's nothing sticking out. So I just twist it really in terms of what I'm holding, just so I can see all the way around, and rub my finger across it. So this is my bracelet. You can see I can shape it any way I want because I'm using that wire. So when I come to putting this on my wrist, it's gonna shape really lovely. All I have to do now is attach my clasp and my findings. So I've got 2 of my jump rings, which are 6mm outer diameter, are Lucy Brilliant. She has shared the link for our Totally Beads wire looping pliers, which are your 6-step. 6-step just being you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different kind of steps. Round nose will do just as well, but if you do want to get a pair of them, I find them quite handy for like making bails and things like that with as well. Thank you so much for that, Lucy. Phoenix says thank you too. Okay, so now I'm going to get 2 pairs of pliers, a pair of flat nose, chain nose, and I'm going to hold as much of the surface area of my jump ring. I'm going to move that slightly out of the way just so you can see. Oh, thanks, Lucy. Oh, she's so helpful. Where would we be without her? There we go. So these ones make loops in the following sizes: 2mm, 3mm, 4mm, 5mm, 7mm, and 9mm. There you go. Superstar. Right, okay. So I'm taking as much surface area as I can of that jump ring. You'll see there's a little opening at the top. If I turn it towards myself or away from myself by just a few millimeters, nothing major. What I'm going to be able to do is then just hook that straight onto that gorgeous little wrap that I've made. So my loop is made by 3 of those wires, and I can just place it nicely inside. Now to close it, I'm going to move it away from me. If I opened it towards me, I'm moving it away. And I'm just going to take it. Ooh, it's either going to click, which is for me probably one of the most satisfying things, because I told you I'm simple, or I can take it slightly past the point where those 2 sections meet, and when I let go, it will spring back closed. If I can hold that up, can we get a little bit of focus so you can see? If you struggle to see where the opening is on your jump ring, then it's closed perfectly. Lucy says, I'm just winging it. I really don't have a clue what I'm doing. Do you know, there's one thing I've learned over the last couple of years. Everybody's winging it. Everyone's pretending like they know what they're doing, especially when it comes to adulthood and just adulting. Just pretending I know what I'm doing and hoping for the best. Again, same on the other one. Now, I'm not opening it too wide. The wider I open that, then obviously I'm putting a lot of stress and pressure onto this part of the jump ring. So I only want to open it up a little bit, and also I'm opening it towards me or away from me, not outwards, because I don't want to distort the shape and the integrity of that jump ring. I'm now going to slide that through the other side of the loop, and then I'm going to get whatever clasp I'm using in your kits. I think they're 12mm little lobster clasps. And then again, closing it up by going slightly past the point where the 2 ends meet. Need a bit of focus. There you go. Lucy says, just click buttons and hope for the best. I'm just doing that with every aspect of life. There you go, that's your bracelet. You can then now use your lovely little lobster clasp to close that up and create the shape that you want. Now, the shape of a wrist is never fully circular. It's always quite oval. But again, you've got that lovely malleable wire. You can scrunch it up and still be able to open it up and give it. I mean, don't do that with your jewellery. Be kind to your jewellery. You've spent time making that, make it nice. But you can see, you can then just shape it back into place because you're using the wire. It's beautiful material to work with. So that is your one of 6 gorgeous colours today. I will take you back onto the website very quickly so you can see, if you missed us at the beginning, this is the Deborah cluster bracelets. I'm using 3 lengths, about 11 inches each, of the 0.426 gauge wire. You've got lovely colours. You've got the blue and the white, which I demoed for you, forest green and light peach, golden ivory, magenta and buttermilk, space blue and white, which is showing is out of oh no, I need to refresh, don't I? Let's just haha, there you go. Space blue and white and turquoise and pastel green. There are 10%, there is 10%, oh, golden ivory, look like they're out of stock. There is 10% off all of your kits today. They should be £7.99. They are £7.19. I'm going to give the warehouse a little nudge just to check to see if we do have any more of the golden ivory in stock that we can add back on for you. You've got that lovely discount, so make the most of that. Each of your kits is going to make up 3 bracelets. So you've got enough components and enough of your 4 6mm glass round pearls and your 3mm acrylic spacer beads to make up 3 bracelets, as well as all your findings and all the length of wire, everything you could possibly need to make 3 bracelets, or even a necklace if you wanted to. Would quite like to see that as a necklace. Might make one as a necklace. If I'm multi-buying my kits, then I can, I can make my necklaces, and I can have a little matching suite of jewellery. So let's have a little wave goodbye before I go, see what I've missed. Phoenix is saying, she gave me half faces. Lucy's saying it's a good price. Ida is the best is saying, question Natalie, what gauge are the jump rings? I think they're 1 millimeter. I think so. They're a nice, thick, sturdy size. Oh, I will check on that for you. If you go in the product description, it should have all the findings and information on there for you. Ida is the best. Love that tag name, by the way. Jan says, thank you, Natalie, for the tutorial. Loving these. We're going to give it a try when she gets her new pliers. Ooh. You can use your round nose if you want to have a little practice in the meantime. Cheryl says, what I love is that Totally Beads tutorials always give me a confidence boost. Thanks, Cheryl. Do you know what? I love reading people's comments. There was a fabulous comment on the YouTube, the tutorial we did last time I was with you, Friday. I was using the gemstones, and I had a lovely lady comment that she really enjoys the tutorial, but she doesn't like the woo-woo of all of the properties of gemstones, which is something I buy into, but she clearly doesn't, and that's fine. And I love the fact that everybody has their own opinions on things. As long as you voice that opinion in a polite, kind, respectful manner, then that's perfect. So I do think, Cheryl, it does give you a confidence boost being in the Totally Beads group, because you know, we're all a nice bunch. We all look after each other. So do please share your make, tag me in it, let me see what you've done. Camille says, very pretty. Thank you, lovely. Lucy says, gorgeous make. I'm going to have a go after I've done the housework. Oh, it's too hot for housework, Lucy. Shelley is saying, it's a very pretty make. Thank you. You're welcome. Mina says, love it and thank you. She's going to try with tiger tail. Let me see, Mina. Let me see how it looks on tiger tail. I think it's going to work just as fine. The only thing you might have is, no, I don't think you'd be able to get 3 ends of your tiger tail through a crimp bead. But show me what you've done anyway. Judith says, thank you, really like the design. Tracy says, thank you, lovely tutorial as always. Phoenix says, a gorgeous make. And please put the name of the tutorial on the YouTube title, as it's a nightmare to search them. Phoenix, I've suggested that to the team. When as soon as I seen your comment, I sent that as a suggestion. I think it's a really good shout. These are the Deborah bracelets. If you aren't sure how to find it on YouTube, Phoenix, say if you go back and you watch a video from like 6 months ago or a year ago, if you go into you on the Facebook, start again. If you go onto the Totally Beads website, you type in, say, Deborah, and it will bring you this tutorial up. It'll bring you the kits, and then you can click the video, which is always at the top of the kits, and that'll take you directly through it onto YouTube. So just go onto the website. You don't need to have Facebook. You don't need to, you don't need the social media. You can just go onto the website and click it that way. Hopefully that will help if it's not in the description. Sheila says, lovely demonstration, Natalie. Thank you. They're saying that I can never remember what we've called things. Now I'm naming them. I get a little bit better, but someone will say, oh, I've just made the Chloe bracelet. And I'll be like, which one was that? Thank you, Sheila. That's really kind of you. Jan says, thank you for the tutorials. Going to try this. I've read that comment. It's come through again. Well, good luck with the chain nose pliers, Jan. Angela's going to have a little go, I think, as well. Thank you, Joanne. She has very lovely design, lovely colours too. And as normal, you describe every step easy for us. Just so I know what I'm doing, Joanne. Everyone agrees it's too hot for housework. So, just go make something. Phoenix, thank you so much. Have a lovely, lovely day with your parents. Star is being really kind. Lucy's being kind. Lane's being kind. Everyone's just lovely. Thank you so much. I'm just checking. I've not missed any comments. Pauline's going to give it a go. She's going to get some new pliers as well. Oh, Idra's the best says my 11-year-old keeps changing my screen name. I've stopped changing it back. Stick with that one. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Perfect. Ida is the best. Shelley says my house is full of crystals and I have some lovely gemstone beads to make things with. Life is better with crystals. I agree, Shelley. The person who commented, I think, loves them too. She just likes the scientific aspects of them and not the spiritual benefits. What are we sharing here, Lucy? Totallybeads.co.uk. Yeah, jewelry making, Facebook tutorials. Click on that. You'll find everything you're looking for. Right, I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you so much for being with me today. I'm going to be back with you on Friday. I can't remember what I'm making. Come and join us on Wednesday. I think it's the lovely Laura. And have a fabulous week. Keep cool, be good, and stay making, everyone.